Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Innovation Alley. We're your hosts. I'm TowelManPurple.
I'm Bjorn.
And today we are both trying to bring a version of Sapphire post-banning. And just to see where this will take us in the direction we want to go and how it could affect the meta moving forward. So, Bjorn, I see that you have brought Amethyst Sapphire. Talk to me about it and tell us what you got.
Well, no Hiram needed here.
Love it.
Right? I'll go through the characters first. We have Oswald, who I think is a little bit slept on, because he just keeps giving you value. Like, he can give you value. You're not gonna, of course, hit every time with him, but you are going to ink every single turn, so every single turn that Oswald is out is just more and more and more and more chances to just gain free value.
Exactly.
So I definitely think that, you know, maybe he only hits a third of the time, but that's enough. If he brings out 2 items through the course of his life, like that's what he needs to do, right?
I mean, yeah, it's still very advantageous, so for sure.
That's all he needs to do. And Bell, of course, we have a bunch of cheap items. So Bell is very easy to play on turn 1. Like that's all she needs to do. She needs to come out on turn 1 because we don't have any other 1-cost characters, which is fine. Hero Hamada here lets us search our deck for any item card, which I think is crazy. For example, you know, just searching up a Lucky Dime, right? When that's all you need to win.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, or like any of the other items we have. Just, you know, whatever you need at the moment. I think he's very, very underrated in that regard.
I think it's worth noting that when you search the item, it stays on top of the deck. It doesn't go into your hand.
Oh yeah, of course.
So it is allowing you to set up Oswald triggers.
Yes, absolutely. If you use Hero's ability before you ink, you can definitely get it out with Oswald, or you can just use any kind of draw ability, or simply wait a turn.
Yep. I like it.
Yeah. And then we have Magica the Spell, Cruel Sorceress, which just makes you immune to discard. And I think that discard is going to be a pretty big part of the new meta. I think discard is going to be very powerful. So I think that this Magica the Spell is definitely something to watch out for. She's a 2/5, but you know, she can be removed by a Zeus, for example, or by being exerted and then challenged into. But she still serves a purpose.
For sure.
Another Magica the Spell. Both of them are mostly shift targets for the big one, but the other one has an ability that you can return an item to the player's hand if it's 3 cost or less. So you can, you know, recycle one of your own items, or if the opponent's also playing items, you know, make life difficult for them. Return their fishbone quill to their hand, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then we have, of course, Scrooge McDuck. Since we're not playing Hiram anymore, our items are actually going to just stay on the field, right? They're not just going to disappear. So it's easy to have 4 items out, and Scrooge can be played for free quite often, I believe. And of course, when you play him, like it's another, like, just like Bell, it's another 3 character. He just comes out for no ink, but also he gives you another item when he comes out, so that's pretty cool. Then of course the 6-cost Tamatoa. I think it's just amazing. Return 2 item cards from your discard to your hand. Like, we don't have Hiram, but you know, they can still end up in our discard. Like if we crack them, you know, like some items, you know, use them and then they get discarded, or we sacrifice 1 to Bell, or whatever happens, we get them back. And also when it quests, we can play an item for free, and you know, Lucky Dime is the premier target for that.
We love
Playing
free.
a Lucky Dime for free is crazy. And then the big Magica Dispel. Shift 5, we have 8 small shift targets. So you'll never have to play her for 7. You can always play her for 5 by shifting. Whenever this character quests gain lore equal to the cost of one of your items in play, is her ability. Lucky Dime costs 7. Lucky Dime costs 7. When she quests, she gains 7 lore.
It's kind of nasty in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, even if you don't, even if you only have a 3 or 2 cost item, that's still, this is still decent. But of course, the real combo is together with Lucky Dime. Just like the big 8 cost Tamatoa, I think that card is still playable. Maybe not as good as the 6 cost one, but still. You can just keep getting items back, and if you have loads of items, he's gonna quest for a whole lot, right? Like those are your finishers, those 2 cards, those big cards. Tamatoa is for when you have a million items, and you spam items, and he quests for a ton. Magica is more for if, like, you might not have a bunch of items, but you have Lucky Dime, and that's all you need for her to quest for 7.
Right.
Yeah. And then our actions is that Sail the Azurite Sea. I think it's just a great card. You play it, it replaces itself because you draw a new card, and then you can play 1 more ink this turn. So if you play this on turn 2, you suddenly have 4 ink next turn instead of 3. And that's pretty good, because then you could play, like, get a Magica Dispel out, or and then shift her next turn, perhaps.
Yeah, replacement
we have
effect
friends
and
on the
ramping is good.
Yeah. Friends on the other side, look, who needs Hiram when we have access to Amethyst, right? Friends on the other side is a classic card. You can pay 3 to draw 2 cards, or you can pay 0 and just exert your bell, exert your hero, exert your Magica Dispels to sing it. Right?
Yes, sir.
Very, very nice. And of course, the items. Right? I have 20 items here. A little bit crazy maybe, but I feel like 20 is perfectly reasonable if we are playing an item deck. I have 3 different 1-cost items here. Popsicle is of course the best one. Scepter of Arendelle can be good, giving support to something. Our characters aren't the biggest or the strongest, so that support can really, really help in managing the board. And the Retrosphere works as like a super befuddle if you crack it. Like, it costs 3 instead of cost 2. There's a lot of things on cost 3 you can bounce. That's pretty good to bounce, right?
I guess the difference in this deck is you have both versions of Tamatoa, so you get to befuddle over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, Popsicle and Retrosphere can just come back again and again and again, for sure. And then we have Maleficent Staff, which, not a lot of people like this item very much. A lot of people have tried it out in, like, Amethyst, Emerald, bounce decks, forcing opponents' stuff back to their hand. I think it fits better here because, even if you don't need the effect, it's an item. It only costs 2. We already have all the good 1-cost items here, so, more cheap items. It's a 2-cost item, so it's fine, But also, Retrosphere and that Magica Dispel I talked about earlier, right?
Most certainly.
The Magica Dispel that can return an item to the opponent's hand, and the Retrosphere can return a 3-cost anything to the opponent's hand. Both of them can give you some sneaky extra lore with this Maleficent Staff, especially if you have multiple of them. Imagine if you have 3 Maleficent Staff in play, right? You crack the Retrosphere, bounce something back to the opponent's hand, you gain 3 lore. Then, quest with Tamatoa, get the Retrosphere back, do it again, and gain 3 more lore.
So good.
Yeah, like, definitely better in numbers. And of course, to run it off, we have Marie's Workshop. Just gives us a whole another draw engine. We have loads of items, so we are going to get a lot of use out of Maurice's Workshop. Yes. And 2 lucky dimes, of course, since it's just very good with Big Tamatoa, and it's very good with Magica the spell. And we can even search it up with Hero. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is the only legendary that is not a character, right? So, it's good. Mm-hmm. There's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. There you have it, the Magica Dispel, Amethyst Sapphire, and we'll go over to, I put together Touching Grass post-ban, so without
Touching Grass.
Yeah, Touching Grass,
okay.
Right? Emerald Sapphire.
Right.
We have 4 2-cost Ursula because, let's be completely frank, Steel is thriving very, very well in this meta, and Ursula gets to take away some of their tools. Also trying to capitalize on Oswald. Other than the fact that it's a 2-cost 2-quester, it does give you the ability of being able to get some items in play every time you ink. Like, I'm on board with that. We also play 4 copies of the same Bell. We have some 1-cost items in the deck, and being able to play Bell on 1 can kind of put a halt or pull the e-brake against some of these aggro decks that are going to be out there, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
We have the Queen, 3-cost 3/3 that was really, really popular a few sets back in the Ruby Sapphire items list. And, we're trying to bring her back to life, a little resuscitation here. Being able to, exert her and look at the top 4 cards to reveal an item to, if it's over the cost of 3, you put it in your hand, and if it's 3 or less, you put it into play for free and exert it. I mean, we like free things. The 4-cost Scrooge McDuck, right? Same exact thing, just like Bjorn mentioned, right? If you have 4 items in play, you can play it for free, and you get to basically tutor the top X cards of your deck, top 4, and look for another item. So replacement effects are going to be very, very popular right now with the loss of Hiram from this banning. So I think those are things that are really, really important to look forward to. Then we go to some of our bombs or stall tactics. We have 2 aerial, 3/4, 3-quester with ward. But if you have more items than the opponent, it quests for 5, right? She costs 6, she's uninkable, but a bomb in itself. Aerial is just superb. Then, of course, 4 of these new Tamatoas, the 6-cost, 4/5, quest for 2. Obviously, when you play the character, you bring 2 items back from your discard to your hand, and when you quest with this character, you get to play an item for free. Absolutely love it. We have 2 Peter Pan. So Peter Pan is a 7-cost 4/6. It only quests for 1, but the character enters play exerted. While this character is exerted, each opposing player can't gain lore unless one of their characters has challenged this turn. So, unless they have one challenging one of yours, they can't do anything to gain lore. And I think that is a way to pull the e-brake again. So, we'll talk more about that. We also have a pair of 8-cost Tamatoas that, obviously pair very, very well with Dime and decks that are themed around items. And they also give you a little bit of recursion. So they all kind of blend and mesh very well together. Now we also play a full set of Sail the Azurite Sea. We like being able to replace the card, and ramp is great. We play 3 copies of Launch. Something else to kind of throw a wrench into the plans of your opponent if they have some of these characters that are getting in the way, or if you need to rid of an opposing 6-cost Tamatoa. There are things that this allows you to hit 5 damage. It's very relevant. Now for our items, we have 23 of them. We have 4 Obscurasphere. This is a 1-cost item. You can pay 2 to banish the item and give a character of yours ward until the start of your next turn. So they gain a ward for a turn cycle. Then obviously we have 4 Popsicle, Card draws a card. It can heal. It's still the best item in the game, right? Then we have 3 Hidden Inkcaster. Okay, it's a 2 cost. When you play the item, you draw a card. It says all cards in your hand count as being inkable. So you can ink an uninkable card. You can ink an inkable card. You can do whatever you want as long as you have Inkcaster there, basically. Then we play 3 Emerald Coil. Now this card works phenomenally well with Peter Pan. So during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. So full turn cycle. But if you give Peter Pan evasive, it makes it a lot more difficult for the opponent to challenge into that Peter Pan.
That's evil. That's very evil.
Well, that's kind of the goal, right? Want to stall out until we get to the claim the game in a turn type situation. Now, we also have a single copy of Radigan's Marvelous Trap. So banish this item, each opponent loses 2 lore. So if they're getting ahead too fast, we don't have access to a Pirate's Life in this color combination, so we have Radigan's Marvelous Trap. We still have a full set of Fishbone Quill, so it can help us ramp and get to where we need to go that way. We also play a pair of Maurice's Workshop to create another draw engine, just as Bjorn had done, as well as rounding the deck off with 2 Lucky Dime, because once again, that card is an absolute bomb, and the amount of lore that it can gain for you in 1 turn will most certainly be able to finish the game. So there you have it with my version of Emerald Sapphire Touching Grass and the Amethyst Sapphire Magica Dispel by Bjorn and yours truly. So I'd like to take this time to also say, if you haven't already done so and you're new to the channel, right down below, hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date on all the content. We post at minimum 2 videos a week, and maybe even more going forward. We're going to try to venture into some gameplay videos and have a lot more content to put out there for you guys. So leave us a comment. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, if there's something you think we can do to improve any of these lists, or if you have something that you have interest going into some of the future episodes. We'd like to take this time to thank each and every one of you in this community. And until the next one, keep innovating.